Hello, this is Scott. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I cover a variety of different data science analytics topics. Today I'm going to be talking about a commercial platform, an integration, interoperability between a visual dashboarding tool called Spotfire with a machine learning platform in the background. The application is going to be control charts. And so what I can do is I can create in my front end basically any dashboard that I want. These are quite configurable, and I have some demonstrations on doing this, but this purpose of this video is illustration. So I already have a dashboard created for different chart types. I'm doing statistical process control or quality control in using different standard charts. So I have a drop-down menu, and what I can do is I can select the type of chart that I want. So right now I'm displaying an individual's chart, but I can also calculate an X-bar chart, exponentially weighted moving average, cumulative sum chart. So I can select that via a drop-down. I can also select my different measurements. Here I just have two process measurements that I'm working with. I'm doing width and length. I get the display here for the chart. So again, right now I'm displaying width. I can interact with these points and then drop down to the specific data for that particular point, or I can click out of that. And so this chart, we have a couple of warning points here that are showing up, but nothing, well, there's one point out of control here. And so I can also input the different kinds of rules that I want within the engine that generates these charts. So Westinghouse, or if you have in-house rules that you want to use to flag out of control conditions, you can certainly do that. Let's look at length. It's a little more interesting because the length, you can see something is happening here. It looks like we have a shift change here, and maybe we want to recenter, and that's easily doable as well because I can just grab points. We'll see here in just a second. But before I get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. I can change the different sample identifier, so batch ID, basically anything that you have within your data to generate. The center line, right, I can do the process mean here is the option for that, or I could define that on my own. I can basically put in my defined center line. I can do different control limits, so I can calculate those limits, both upper and lower control limits. I can do the just the lower, upper, for a one-sided chart, etc. And then I can also shift the sigma range, right? The standard error for determining a control level. So here you can see that I have a 3 sigma for control limits, and I've got a 2 sigma for the warning. But if I wanted to, I can move those points out. Let's suppose I only want really rare conditions to flag control, and you can see here that I just have recalculating, I have 1 point that is out of control there. And then I can do the same for the warning limits as well. Let me just throw that back. And then I can also interact with my chart in a variety of different ways. So I can even add specification limits if I want. If I have a manufacturing specification limit, I can add those, as well as a nominal line, target line for the specification limits. If we're doing exponentially weighted moving averages, I can specify lambda and the moving average span there. I can also, let's suppose that I wanted to maybe recalibrate or recalculate my limits based on some things. Let's suppose I wanted to take all of those. Then I can say exclude marked samples. And so it's dropping, you can see that it's dropping those samples, 826, 30. So those are the record ID here. Or I can essentially include those back and add those back in. The other things that I can do is I can even denote causes. So let's suppose that I recalibrated something, maybe it's here that I want to note, and I just say I wanted to note that I recalibrated machine here, and then action, no action, and then comment. Scott did this on 2/7/20, and then I can do that. So I assign the cause there, and then that's populating the back end, and then you can see this is going to show up in the chart what's happening there. So anyway, some really cool stuff. We haven't even really gone through all of it. There's the assignments, but really the power here is what's powering this chart. This is Spotfire. It's a visualization tool and more, but the real power for this particular illustration is coming through a Statistica backend. So we have here a workflow where I'm bringing in data, and this could be machine sensor data, it could be a database, population, anything that I want, and then I can run through whatever analysis or even machine learning algorithms. If I wanted to do, say, predictive maintenance, I want to predict failure, and I want to run those through and calculate predicted time of failure, I can do that. So there's a whole variety of different analyses that I can do. You can create these in these templates. These are not simple drop downs, but they're actually an entire flow that can be annotated. I can add comments on top of these flows, what I'm doing. I can pass these off. I have a whole back end for metadata, that I can share with my team and others. So very powerful stuff, and I'll stop there, but hopefully you can join me again. I'm going to do a few of these illustrating the power of this interoperability.